Hey, 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 this is Seagrove, and today I'm here with some great players, most of whom will be going to the Brazilian International Championship. And they're going to be talking to us about their predictions for the tournament and the meta. So, why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourself? Rahul, why don't you start us off?
Hey guys, I'm Rahul. I've been on here before, playing for like 8 years now. Third World's invite, going for top 16. Live in Orlando. I really want some watermelon.
All right. William, go ahead.
Hi guys, I'm William Azevedo. I'm from Brazil. I've been playing Pokemon for a very long time, but this is the first year that I start to a competitive playing internationally.
Okay. And you're first in Brazil, right?
I'm first in Latin America.
That's right. That's awesome. Allred, go
Thanks.
ahead.
Hey, I'm Ryan Allred. I've been playing about 4 years. This will be my third invite and first time in top 16. Hopefully. I'm like number 14 right now. Member of Pro Play Games.
All right. Frank, go ahead.
Hey guys, I'm Frank. I got third at Worlds in 2010. Won some regionals more recently. Day 2'd Worlds each of the last 3 years. Haven't been playing so much this season. Not heading to Brazil, but I am going to Virginia, Toronto, and hoping to pick up the pace towards the end of the season.
I think Frank is the first guest I've had on one of these who has fewer CP than I do. So that's pretty cool. He's been chilling so far this year.
We go by lifetime CP.
Yeah, there you go. Have you been to a cup this year?
Yeah. I've been to some cups. I'm at I think it's 139 points. I have a top 4 at a cup from this quarter.
That's so
I think I've
baller.
only played this quarter. I think I don't know, a couple more finishes at some earlier cups, but not very many.
I love how like even though we're third quarter, you're still gonna get your invite.
I'm backloading the season. It's planned.
All right, that's awesome. Okay, so Brazil. This is the third international. Obviously, North America being the last. Towards won the first 2.
Yep.
Which is pretty crazy. With Zoroark, Golisopod, and Zoroark Guardy. Is Zoroark going to be the deck to beat at this international, or is there something else that's looking stronger? Allred, why don't you start off?
Yeah, Zoroark is definitely Zoroark decks and Buzzwole decks. You know, those are the two. Other than that, I mean, like some weird stuff always sneaks in, but that's the vast majority of the meta.
Yeah.
Frank, what's your favorite?
Yeah, in Brazil, guys, actually gonna.
Yeah, go ahead.
In Brazil, we're actually gonna face a lot of Duskmans and Vicabulos.
I've heard of that. Yeah, I was talking to Gustavo a little bit, and the one thing he told me, I literally just like looked back on my phone. I was like, did he just say Duskmane? He's like, yeah, our meta game, like we play a lot of Magnezone and Bulu here, and I was like, why? He's like, we really don't like Lucario.
And that's because it beats Lucario?
Oh, it smashes Lucario.
Okay.
You just one shot them. Yeah.
That's awesome. Frank, what's your favorite Zoroark build?
I like the Golisopod build.
Okay.
I think I was on board for Lucario. I worry about Lucario against Lycanroc, and so I think just Golisopod with Mew EX just covers its bases really well. I think in general Garbodor is better positioned for Brazil. It seems like all the things we're talking about, Garbodor does well against.
Yeah. Rahul, what do you think? Do you think Zoropod is the best of the Zoroark builds right now?
Personally, no. I've never been a fan of Pod because it's never suited my playstyle. Don't get me wrong. I think Zoroark Pod is like literally one of the best decks that's ever like in the hands of a good player that knows what they're doing. It always does well because like you have all the tools. It's another Zoroark deck where you you know what you're doing with your pieces that you have in your deck. It's just one of those decks that's never been one I've preferred because I don't really like the whole. I'm gonna ace roller for like 16 hours and we're gonna get to maybe game 3 and like every like Zoropod player that I've talked to that's like top 8'd, like I look at their tournament reports and like a lot of the time they don't make it past a single game, and that's really not how I play it. Like Frank's played me multiple times, Ryan's played me a couple times. They know I play very quickly. I don't know what time is, so I prefer Zoro Rock over all the other variants because I can just get in there and just blow shit up, basically.
Yeah, I agree. I like Zoroark a lot better than Zoropod for the same reason. I hate Ace of Rolling all day.
You're listening to me?
I do. I also think it's strong.
Okay.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Okay. No, I'm just checking if I'm online or not because my internet's not good right here. But I agree with Rahul. I think Zoroark Lycanroc is the best variation because you can just Sycamore and Guzma in the same turn.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
William, we missed some of the other decks that you mentioned. Were there any other decks you mentioned besides Zoroark, Bulu, and Magnezone as big decks?
I think it's such a huge tournament, and we obviously gonna face every kind of deck here, but these 3 I think is the most dominant.
Okay. How's Greninja in Brazil?
Oh, jeez.
Is it widely played?
That question. I don't know. It's just Greninja is Greninja.
Okay.
People used to play, but I don't think for this kind of tournament, they will probably prefer something safer like Zoroark or even Garbodor. But I don't believe in Greninja.
Okay. Frank, you're saying Garbodor is going to be really strong. What do you think about Garbodor and Buzzwole, or do you think Buzzwole Lycanroc is still the way to go with the deck?
So I don't really like Garbodor Buzzwole. Buzzwole Lycanroc is a good deck. Garbodor is a good deck. I don't know about the two of them together. I think that there's other options for Garbodor. I think Garbodor has a few things you can play with it.
Yeah.
But it's got some obvious ones too.
Okay, talk to us about those. Do you think Espeon's still a good play?
Got to still be competitive. I don't know if it's the best play, but it's got to be in contention. I think you could play some sort of like Garbodor Golisopod. Garbodor with a few things. Just Garbodor itself counters a lot of the like the stage 2 decks that we're talking about, and can go toe to toe with Zoroark. So I think Garbodor is well positioned.
Ryan, you played a Lucario, Regirock, Buzzwole conglomerate. Was there Lycanroc in there as well?
Nope, just Lucario Buzzwole.
Does that have any place in Brazil, or is that?
I still like the deck. I think it's super cool. It definitely has consistency issues, just because it relies on Octillery instead of Zoroark. And since you play less Buzzwoles than like a Buzzwole Lycanroc, the inconsistencies can hurt you more. Like in Buzzwole Lycanroc, you just hit with Buzzwole. You're like, oh, I didn't draw anything, but I'm just going to Jet Punch for 5 turns, so it's fine. And you can't always do that with Buzzwole Lucario. It's still cool. I like it. I don't think I'm going to bring it to Brazil, though.
Okay. Rahul, what are your favorite counters for Buzzwole right now? Like Mew, Mewtwo, Mew EX?
So if you're playing Buzzwole Mirror, I think a 1 copy of Mew FCO and 1 Oricorio is pretty good, because the Oricorio is like actually just ridiculously cheeky. Like they can do barely any damage to it, and you're just like, I'll do a ton of damage to you. And then the Mew FCO is a very good answer to Mew EX on the other side if you're playing Buzzwole Mirror. But if you're playing a Zoroark variant, I think you should be playing a copy of both Mew and Mewtwo, unless you're playing Zoroark Guardy. Or like Zoropod, you can just afford to play 1 Mew. Decks that, and like Mew EX and Mewtwo themselves like both give you an answer to Lucario and Buzzwole as a whole. So it's worth dedicating at least 1 spot to a Mew EX at the very least in your deck if you're playing Zoroark.
William, I don't know how familiar you are with North America meta, but we've started to see Buzzwole even play Oricorios and Mewtwo's to counter the Mew EXs and such, countering it. I don't know if you just follow everything. That was a weird way of saying it, but what do you think? Do you like playing counters in Buzzwole to the counters, like a Mewtwo to counter Mew EX or an Oricorio or anything like that? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I played Buzzwole Lycanroc in Oceania Internationals, and I didn't play any counter for Mew or Mew EX was actually the danger right now. But right now, I think I would opt for play FCO Mew. He could be a fourth Buzzwole. He could give you the free retreat. I don't know. He can give you some up in some other matchups.
Mm-hmm. Also can copy Sudowoodo, which is really strong.
Yeah, Sudowoodo is it's not a tech card. It's a standard card for the deck.
Yeah, but I'm saying Mew can copy the Sudowoodo even.
Sure.
Which
sure,
is good.
yeah.
Cool. So, Frank, if you were going to Brazil, what would you play?
Oh, that's a good question. I'd play, I think, I don't know, maybe like a Zoroark Garb deck, something different.
Okay. I've heard
there's just that Japanese tournament that there was a Zoroark Garb that did well.
Mm-hmm. I've heard a lot of good things about Zoroark Garb recently.
Yeah, right. What if you can play all those other bad cards that discard like at the end of the turn?
Yeah.
And you just play your cards instead.
Just play what cards instead?
Better cards.
Okay.
Like all that everyone else in the world plays.
So you're playing like Floatstone and stuff, and you're just accepting turning off your own Zoroark.
Yeah, stuff like that. Not trying to combo. Just close to the list did well in Japan.
Okay. Rahul, what do you think about Zoroark Garb?
I haven't tried with heavy Floatstones and stuff. When I tried the deck, I thought it was really cute because I saw it in Collinsville, and then I played it. But the version I tried was like the one that Frank was talking about with the shitty cards in it, like with bursting balloons and the Klefkis and stuff. And I'm just like I never get to I don't have enough tools to keep my Garb going. Is how I felt like throughout the game, and I'm just like I'm puzzling back like balloons and stuff, and I just felt bad with that. So I mean, with a more consistent, just like I am a Garb deck that has a Zoroark very conveniently, that seems a lot better.
Okay. Ryan,
yeah, I tested it for Collinsville beforehand, and I just didn't love it. It was like super cool. It's just not good. But like the bursting balloons, I really liked. Somebody sent me a list that was the same thing, but like no bursting balloons, just Klefkis. I was like, this is trash. The bursting balloons are what make it good because you don't. I don't know, like half the time you attach it to Garb. Usually you're just like bursting balloon on the active.
Yeah.
Hit me, and now I can one-shot you with the Zoroark.
Yeah. That was pretty powerful. So, we've had 2 regionals in the U.S. so far that have been in this meta. We've had Portland and Charlotte. Charlotte saw Buzzwole dominate, and then in Portland, Espeon Garb. Do you all think... I'm going to just let anyone who wants to take this one. Do you all think that the meta will be more like Charlotte, or do you think it'll be more like Portland, or do you think it'll be a new meta?
So the one thing to say, Charlotte was slightly different
because it didn't have Lucario. That's right.
Right.
Correct. It'll be a new meta purely because anyone looking at Portland results, I think you just scrap that entirely as a tournament, just because the stars aligned, like somebody sacrificed a goat somewhere, something happened, and everybody rolled up with like mill decks. Like every good player's like just all of a sudden woke up the night before and they're like, Sylveon seems pretty good. Like I'm really good friends with Sam Chad. He messaged me, goes, I think I'm playing Sylveon, and I was like, what's wrong with you, bro?
Yeah.
And like I was sitting here with Lucario scoop up, like this thing looks fun, and then I made day 2, and like every single person in the room is like, we're not gonna lose to Lucario, and I'm like, why are you guys so scared? This is the first tournament with this card being legal. The card's busted, don't get me wrong. But, like, everyone was so scared of Lucario, they were just ready to beat it. And I don't think that kind of a meta will ever, like, be so perfect where everyone's just countering one deck and it actually works for once.
Yeah. Do you all think, or I'll ask William, do you think this is Lucario's time? Do you think Lucario sort of missed out because of Espeon and now this is its time in Brazil? Or you're saying earlier with Buzzwole and Magnezone everywhere, maybe not. What do you think?
You need to have something in your mind. It doesn't work like this in Brazil. People just play what they like. That's the special reason why they play Duskmane and Tapu Bulu, because it can one shot everything. And okay, I can shot everything, I'm gonna play this. It's not like metagame evaluation. It's just, I like this, I'm going to play this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Allred, what do you think about that? Do you think this is a time for Lucario or no?
I think the more time I've had with Lucario, it's underwhelming. I didn't get how it couldn't be unstoppable, but like the big problem is just after the first attack, you're just kind of chilling.
Yeah.
It's hard to get a second attack because they're not going to attack it. Like they just won't. They'll Guzma something else up and mess with that. So then you're like, all right, cool. I guess this Lucario is just going to sit on my bench forever with 1 energy on it.
Right.
But like the Zoroark Lucario Lycanroc deck is cool. I just think it's clunky. Mm-hmm. And I think if you don't have all of that stuff, Lucario doesn't work as well.
Okay. Well, Rahul brought up mill decks. And even though it's Sylveon's the big mill deck, and then there's Hoopa, attacking Hoopa, which is not mill, but it almost feels similar.
A lot of times it is.
Right. A lot of times they do end up milling. Or Decidueye mill, which I got to play against. I had the pleasure of playing against in Charlotte.
Decidueye mill?
Yeah. Decidueye Hoopa mill.
Is this a thing?
It was a thing.
One time.
It was designed to beat Zoroark, and it lost to everything else. But it beat Zoroark. So, Frank, what do you think about attacking Hoopa and Sylveon? Which deck do you prefer and why?
I think I like attacking Hoopa. I think there's just more to the deck. I wouldn't mind Sylveon Garb. That go with the theme. I'm on board for Garb, but just a better lock. I wouldn't play though any of those decks.
Okay.
I wish there were better lock decks right now, but there just aren't.
Rahul, what do you prefer?
Probably Sylveon over the attacking Hoopas and stuff, just because I think it's like one of the more thought-intensive decks, and like getting any 3 cards kind of puts your opponent on a clock.
Right.
But at the same token, every deck plays 3 to 4 ends, and like you can get just rushed down, which is the scariest part of the deck. Mm-hmm. A lot of the times, like getting a second Sylveon is like your biggest scare. Like once you get the second Sylveon, you've pretty much won. But until you get that second Sylveon, you can get end out of your hand, and all these tools you need to win the game are dead cards sometimes early game, and that's the scariest part of the mill deck. And also, everyone's playing Oranguru at this point in time. Like,
right.
I'm personally probably not going to play Oranguru, but I know a lot of other players who like are very vocal about having it in Zoroark, just because it's also a good card to have in Zoroark, just because you can throw back like double puzzle or something. But I personally don't find myself using it, so I'll just take my loss to mill if I hit it.
William, what are your thoughts on that? Hoopa versus Sylveon?
I actually prefer Hoopa, especially because it's scary to have 60 HP in EV and just, okay, I don't have an energy, I can win any game.
Yeah.
So Hoopa just, it's untouchable sometimes.
For sure.
So,
Sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Okay. So I want to go around the table, and I'm going to ask you one deck that you think is okay, but has a 1-card counter, and what that card is. Okay, so a deck that's like, I would play this deck, or maybe you would play it, or I would play it if it didn't have a 1-card counter, and what the 1-card counter is. So I'm asking you for a deck that you think is decent, that has a 1-card counter, and what that 1-card counter is. Allred, you can start.
Yeah, I mean, like, the obvious one's Greninja, but right now, Buzzwole Lycanroc, the counter is Mew EX. It's not a perfect counter, but if lists start playing like 2 Mew EX and 1 Mewtwo, then like, I don't know how badly I want to play Buzzwole Lycanroc anymore.
Yeah. Well, what do you do? What does Mew do against Lycanroc? Or is it
It's
just
nothing
Buzzwole?
against Lycanroc. It's just that like, they can very easily stream knockouts with Mew EX because all of their Zoroarks are safe. You can't knock them out and knock out the Mew. So like every turn they're knocking you out with Mew.
Okay. Frank, what do you think?
I'd play Raichu and paralyze my opponent, except Goosebump is a thing.
That's a good one. William.
Oh, you can run supply, right?
Do
You
what?
can run supply, so
Yeah.
they can Guzman.
What's it called? Limitation?
Yeah, no supporters.
Yeah.
Get him.
Yeah.
Get 'em. William, what do you think?
Oh, I really think it's Giratina for Greninja.
Okay. You think your ninja's just so good, but if it weren't for Giratina?
No, I don't think Greninja is so good, but I think that Greninja is the kind of... If Greninja runs, it's a deck that if you don't have attach against him, you won't beat him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think this is an obvious question. Well, I'll go ahead and... no. I think this is an obvious question, but if Giratina weren't a thing, would Greninja just be dominating this format, or is it still just too clunky? And Buzzwole's too
don't
good?
think so. It flews to himself.
Yeah. And also against Zoroark decks especially, like you're giving up at least probably 2 to 3 prizes before you can start doing anything. And in that time, if Zoroark sets up properly, they're thinning their deck to the point where like even if you start ending them to 3, they're finding DCEs. They're finding ways to attack. They have Kukui. If they're playing Golisopod, they probably like have ways to have Ace rolls and chain that.
Okay. Rahul, go ahead.
I would play Zoroark Lucario if Lycanroc wasn't a card. Because like if you're playing Zoroark Lucario, you're gonna go like, okay, first Lucario, take a knockout, and you're feeling great. You got a Rylou on your bench, and your opponent just looks at you and goes, "Yeah, let me get that Rylou," and you're like, "Gosh, I lost again." And suddenly, like everything you've invested in, like you now have to like establish another Rylou on the bench and try something, and it's just the deck is so powerful in my mind, and like Sam just showed by winning Jakarta that it's a good deck, but at the same time, it's like chasing the Rylou could just lose you the game outright. Like if you lose your Rylus and Lucarios, you're just a Zoroark deck at the end of the day. And other Zoroark decks have friends, and especially the ones with Lycanroc, that friend bodies you.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Now I'm gonna go around again, and this time I'm gonna ask you to pick 2 of the following. You can only play 2 of the 5 cards in your deck. Which 2 is it gonna be? Parallel City, Mew EX, Oranguru Ultra Prism, Giratina Promo, and I don't know what, but a count, whatever is the appropriate counter for your deck to Hoopa, like whether that be Baby Lycanroc or the weird Lucario or whatever. So a counter to Hoopa, Oranguru, Mew EX, Parallel City, or Giratina Promo. Pick 2 of those. William, why don't you start this?
One of these Parallel City for sure. It's kind of attacked for against any matchup. And I will stand with Giratina Promo.
Okay. Frank, go ahead.
I think I'd do Parallel City and Mew EX.
Okay. Allred.
Yeah, I'd go Parallel and Mew.
Okay. Rahul.
Mew and Tina.
Okay. You and Tina.
I'm just going for the aggressive approach.
Sure. All right. So, what if we're going to this tournament? This is for anybody, whoever wants to answer it. What deck are you not going to lose to, no matter what? Going into this tournament, what deck do you say I will not take an L to? What? Anybody?
Greninja.
After this conversation, I'm saying Bulu and Duskmane. Like that's all I've been thinking about. I'm like, all right, so what can I play?
Well, I've already been thinking about that. Don't worry.
Get ready for them.
You know what's pretty good against them? Greninja. No, just kidding. Almost. Okay. Frank, what do you think? What deck do you not want to lose to?
My first thought was attacking Hoopas. I don't want to just get stalled out. I wouldn't want to take a loss to like a Blue. And that deck, it seems like it just either you have the cards in your deck that give it trouble or you don't.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, I always ask this question at the end, but before we get to the end, is there anything you guys wanted to talk about that I haven't asked? Any specifics for the tournament? All right. So let's get into this. My question is, what is the best deck that you will not be playing in Brazil, that you 100% know I'm not going to play? And so, Frank, for you, that's what's the best deck? So why don't you start? What's the best deck?
Zoric Lucario.
Okay.
I think you're going to get set up pretty consistently, and it's just more straightforward, and you end up winning games.
Cool. William, what's the best deck you will not play?
Zoroark Belisapan. I don't want to play 1 hour every single round.
Okay. I agree. Rahul.
I had this, was literally on the top of my head. Guardy GX.
Okay.
I think Guardy is well positioned and beats a lot of decks if you hit the right matchups and set up properly. It's still as powerful as always. As Vulpix exists, you can set up, but like you're a rare candy deck, and I don't want to lose to Duskmane.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't mean to scare you guys.
Allred, go ahead.
I'd say attacking Koopa, because you have to like really know how to Guru Loop, but I think the deck's still cool.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Well, that's it. We're gonna close by just giving any shout outs that we want to give, whether it be a sponsor or a person or whatever. And I have for the two of you who have Twitter, I put your tag as your name tag. So, I assume Rahul, yours is Flea with 4 E's, right?
Yeah.
The Flea.
Yeah, the Flea.
Okay, good. So Rahul, why don't you start us off with shout outs?
Yeah. Thank you for having me on, as always. My Twitter is what Seagrove has over here. It's also my Twitch. I've been streaming kind of regularly. I'll be doing a lot more over the summer. Once I'm back from this trip, and then every other like bajillion trips I have every weekend. On Twitter, I'll tweet out how I'm doing and stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. William.
Oh, thanks for the opportunity to talk with you and these 3 great players here with us, and this is it.
All right, thank you. Frank.
This is your ad here. I don't got any sponsor, but they're calling off the hook. I have to fight them off, and so I'm sure you'll see a lot more of me soon.
Great. Allred.
Shout out to Seagrove. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And shout out to my sponsor, Pro Play Games and Ultra Pro, and Poke Beach, where I write articles sometimes.
Very cool. All right. Thank you guys for watching, and good luck to everybody going to Brazil.
Thanks.
Peace.